we're going to move on to our Are You Serious section. This is the section that we're going to actually kind of change it around from just memes to like, are you serious? Like, and here's Bill Maher calling out Jake Tapper in his book.
A brand new excerpt from my upcoming book with Axios' Alex Thompson. It's called Original Sin. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's on Biden's decline. It's called Original Sin. I'm sure you've heard on May 20th. That's Tuesday. Original Sin. That's coming out in 3 weeks. On May 20th. That's just 19 days away. In 1 week and 1 day. Coming out in just a few days. Comes out Tuesday. You will not believe what we found out.
Don't news people have to tell you what they know when they find it out? Isn't that the difference between news and a secret? You won't believe what we found out. No, that's why I'm watching. Breaking news in a week.
You can go watch that full clip from Bill Maher there, right? But I don't know, the only thing Jake Tapper could have been doing, and it wasn't just him on CNN hawking that book. Almost all the other CNN anchors or talking heads were hawking that book. It's almost like they should be throwing in a set of Ginsu knives with it.
Jon Stewart, though, he's a very cheeky boy.
Isn't he? Jon Stewart, not Bill Maher, sorry.
He presents himself as a comic. It's like, oh, no, I'm just a comic. I'm just telling jokes, guys. But just like the Colbert, whatever the hell his name, like, they're not just telling jokes. They're political agitators, but they wrap themselves in the cloak of comedy, don't they? So every criticism that he levels at Tapper could also be leveled at him, really. So watch what you're doing, John boy.
Yeah, I called him Bill Maher by mistake. So yeah, Jon Stewart. They all look the same, though.
Well, Bill Maher looks a bit worse for wear, doesn't he? Compared to Jon Stewart, Bill Maher looks like a sort of recently resurrected corpse. But maybe that's just my opinion.
And then we got one here too for the religious. Here's a map of Canada that Mark Nixon put out there and said, "Where's all the climate emergency headlines right now?"
Good times in Yellowknife. Look at that. Bloody hell.
Yeah. There you go.
Happy days. And Thunder Bay, as usual, they're not happy there with their weather.
Yeah, Sean Fraser and was it Mark Miller, or who's the one that was said that was Mark Miller? Sean Fraser.
Oh, you're talking about Mark Holland.
Mark Holland, there you go. Yeah.
Who doesn't want you to have go on road trips because it'll hurt the environment.
Right.
Very smart people. You know, we've got some real like big talents in the Canadian government, haven't we? Thank God for that.
And then here you go, Toronto Sun. Brian Lilly put out a piece that Liberals lied on the carbon tax, according to Stats Canada. Imagine that. You and I talked about that yesterday. Apparently, removing the carbon tax does lower inflation. And those 200 economists, economists that said it didn't have been fired. Likely not.
No, they've moved on to the next, whatever the next joke is, the next sort of false narrative. I think it's probably what the next image is. That's the next false narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, the elbows up crowd. There's Carney Guilbeault and our friend Chrystia Freeland, longtime friend of the show.
The funniest thing about that is the implication that Mark Carney, Steve Guilbeault, or Chrystia Freeland are taller than anybody on the planet.
There you go.
Because it should really be exactly the other way around, shouldn't it? They're all strangely petite, aren't they? Our elite. We've got a petite elite.
And there's a lot of people right now really angry at the Toronto Maple Leafs, saying that they're the worst team ever. And then somebody found out that there is a team worse than the Maple Leafs. And then we have a picture of that team right here.
The audacity of the Governor General, though. That is the Governor General, isn't it? In the sort of mint green. That's kind of like, you know, you're going to stand out if you wear that. But whatever. So, I guess she should be noticed.
So the Leafs fans, you are not alone. Canada suffers with you. you go.
Yeah, they're mad, aren't they, the Leafs fans? They get very aggressive, don't they, when they lose? They really hit out at the team. Find out
this
that's
should be
very common in England with soccer, but it's not normal in Canada, is it? In Canada, it's usually like, oh, you tried your best, we still love you, but not the Leafs. They hit them, don't they?
Well, this is some solace for Leafs fans. There is a team worse than the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of crossover between supporting the Leafs and supporting the people in that picture.
There you go. We got a little clip here from Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan hasn't made it on our show for a while, but we got a clip here from Joe Rogan.
Boy, imagine
Elon is funny as shit, man. He's actually
funny as shit.
Yeah,
Getting
he
dunked
really
on
is.
by that guy's got to suck because you can't even say he's a dumbass.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Yeah. You can say many things. You can't say he's a dumbass.
You get dunked on by one of the smartest guys alive. Boy,
There you go.
He's
JD
not dumbass, but he does say quite a lot of dumb things, I would say. And he says that himself, actually. So
There you go. And this is somebody from the media. It says that, the media didn't lie. And then okay, maybe we lied about Biden's health, Russian collusion, COVID, Hunter's laptop, voter fraud, January 6th, Ukraine, Epstein, Hollywood, and everything between. But trust us when you tell you that Trump is a threat to democracy. There you go. Jake Tapper, actually, in another interview, in a different interview, really went to town on Hunter Biden and said that he's a disgusting individual, like bottom of the barrel scum. And he even talked about how he slept with his brother's, his dead brother's wife and all that kind of stuff, and they got her hooked on cocaine. And turns out, they say he's the one that was running the White House, that he was making a lot of decisions at the White House. So instead of somebody that wasn't there, you had somebody that was high on crack.
I mean, let's not forget that Biden made the absolutely surreal, bizarre decision to pardon members of his own family before he left office. There's so much more to come out of that, isn't there? There's so much more juicy detail to be revealed.
They're now saying that he wasn't even in the same state when those pardons were written by the auto pen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really crazy time, that, wasn't it? Biden as president, COVID, and all sorts of other things occurring simultaneously. That was a bit mad that he was ever the president.
Dr. Jill is not coming out of this unscathed as well. There's a lot of fingers being pointed at Dr. Jill and Hunter Biden. And Hunter can't even sell his paintings anymore. You could probably buy one fairly cheap right now. Did we just freeze? I think you froze there for a second.
Yeah, and Biden.
Is he back?
Been struck by the Biden
network. What's that? We'll see if he comes back. We only got one left here to go. And this one is good news for the Liberal Party. Put this one on. This is the comedy in itself. The good news is Canadians looking to build a stronger economy. Inflation drops to 1.7%. Look what the good work that the Liberals have done. Wasn't it them and 200 economists that said the carbon tax did not contribute to inflation? Now it shows it clearly did, and now you want to take credit for crippling the Canadian economy with a carbon tax that your leader and our new prime minister said that has little effect on carbon emissions. Quite the victory lap.
I mean, there's
here,
also the very unglamorous reality of this political decision. This rather devious, cynical political decision by the Liberals to get rid of the carbon tax. It was forced on them because the Conservative Party relentlessly hammered this issue, won the public argument about it, and ended up being 25 points ahead in the polls or whatever. So the Liberals thought, all right, we'll get rid of that then. And now they're talking about how generous they are and how wise they are. It's a little bit hard to swallow, isn't it?
It was brilliant of them, though. You have to admit, in marketing terms, they took that from Pierre, took all the credit for it, and basically took away his whole campaign. And now they're still taking credit for it. Like, I mean, I don't think many Canadians buy it. Maybe, I guess you could tell who buys into it. That they're taking credit for something that somebody should go back and watch some of the stuff. especially, Guilbeault and Freeland and Trudeau and these 200 economists that were laureate economists that, like when they tried it out in the CBC kept saying it too, they kept telling us how that it doesn't contribute to inflation. And these same publications are now trotting it out as removing the inflationary causing carbon tax. What a great gift to Canadians. Now that the economy has been crippled with it, eh? And now they want to take credit for it.
But I do wonder if Justin Trudeau had done this, if he'd got rid of the carbon tax and he'd gone into the election as the leader of the Liberal Party, I think people would have despised him even more, wouldn't they? Because they would look at him as, devious and all the rest of it. But I think the real, the coup de grace was that it was Mark Carney that did it, and it was this new face. And so many people, like you were mentioning that Financial Post column, which is all about Carney's past as a kind of agitator for climate change regulations and all the rest of it. So many people don't know that about Carney. They're not even aware that that's kind of his identity, really, is that he's the Greta Thunberg of central bankers. But apparently doesn't matter that that's his history. I mean, people don't even know, never mind care.